So I feel that this is coming to the completion of this module of I am. Where are you guys at? What's happened for your pondering? What's happened for your process in this? Where are you at? What have you grasped from that? Is that good, eh?
I'm just struck by the simplicity.
Yeah. It's always simple. So if I can ask this question without putting meaning and purpose into it, but what does this mean for you?
It provided a different perspective for me. I mean, everything you've mentioned so far I've experienced, but just never from this perspective. And I think going forward, having this new awareness is just, it's just another thing that's going to be added to the awareness of when things are unfolding, how it is. Like, this is just a new angle I'm perceiving it from, with, with what we've talked about over the last 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
What we've talked about, for me, it's just more of a just being it now, being with the feel, like already noticing what you've made so simple, the way you've described it. It's allowed me to simply identify where I've been doing that and the experience I've had, and where I've not been doing that. Because especially when you get
Doing what? What are you doing?
Well, nothing. Just energy. Like when you spoke about, for me, with a feeling, moving with the feeling, and using it, you can see how that's been unfolding in my life and where it hasn't been, where I've been getting away. Which brought together all the first couple of parts that we spoke about to something felt like it clicked in.
I just get the greater sense of energy that's always there, compared to perhaps before when, you might be grappling for it, but you just got to take 5 and sit with it, and then understand that it's there anyway.
When you say what does it mean, like my thing isn't about what it means or what I understand. I feel more excited in living it.
Living what?
Like just being that, which I already am. You said I am energy, and not seeing the limitations. Just remembering that now. I guess I have a knowing of it now, and understanding of what we've broken down. But every time I get things from this, I go take it to integrate it, so that I'm not just knowing it up here, but experiencing it.
I feel like just a greater depth to what we're talking about, but I feel like I haven't landed yet, So.
Mm-hmm.
I find it shows where I have been playing small, where I have been getting in the way. That's what every time we do this, that's what it shows up.
So you see some reflections in your story of where you've been.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it continues to dissolve that, what that is. I don't know. I guess habit and something we create, I guess. Creates identity with these beliefs and ideas which limit you. So.
But that's because you want to experience limitation. So just remember that the first couple of days. So you're not limited, but it's supportive for you to experience limitation. So you form the experience of being limited or form the experience of having limitation because you wanted to have limitation. Not because you're small, not because you're not worthy. It's supportive in your story. It's a connecting part of the story. It's something you willed to experience for whatever reason. Remember, we came here to experience ourselves as an infinite being in a finite world. Some rules are there to be broken, some rules are there to be bent. The limitation is going to be there in the finite world. But can you be infinite in the finite experience? The limitation will be there. We have defied gravity. We have traveled to the moon. We are now looking to travel to Mars. Do you know what I mean? The limitations are there. Limitation is time and space. Limitation is gravity. Limitation is you need to make a living to survive.
I mean, you've said a lot of these things before about using money and it's just energy, but to actually, it's thinking at a different level for me to get hanging on to money rather than it's actually there to use and it'll flow and will come and go rather than I'm feeling good because it's this much and then it's this much so it's not so good.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, yeah, just that experience of it's just there to use.
Yeah. And if it's not there to be used, then okay, it's going to be stored there for whatever reason, but when it's time to use it, it's going to be used. You don't necessarily go, oh my God, I've got money being stored there. Geez, this is going to create blockage. No, I'm not saying that. Okay, it's not stored, it's holding for the next movement for it.
Yeah, and at the moment I can see I've been holding on from sometime in the future I might need it to be secure versus a feeling to follow it.
Yeah.
I just have a question about how, just as you said, I mean, we talk about being unlimited, but we do have limitations, gravity and whatever. And I'm just trying to feel how the energy that we're talking about, that we take and give, interacts or intersects with the story, which is our limitation of being, an infinite being in a finite world.
How does it interact or
intersect? Like how does the notion of everything is energy, and yet we still have a story?
Well, it's the moment. All you're doing is changing the form of the energy. Just remember that. If everything's energy, you're changing it from the highest form of energy. Again, if we go into the hierarchy, the highest form of energy to the lowest form of energy. So
we're using the energy within our story to change from, or to make us more unlimited, or how does that energy move in the story itself?
We're not looking to change. There's no...
Yeah, I'm struggling with the words, but I don't know if you know what I'm asking, because the story isn't outside of us. We are in the story, even if we become aware that, the story is an illusion. Mm-hmm.
But if the story is an illusion, you must see what is the truth.
Right.
Okay, so you have formed this story, which is basically energy forming itself. You must see the truth still. We can't just go, it's an illusion. If something is illusion, then what's the truth? Does that make sense? So you can't, especially on your journey, you can't keep saying, well, it's an illusion. You say you only realize it's an illusion when you see the truth. Do you understand? I just want to make that very clear, because I've heard a few times people just say it's an illusion. Okay, well, what's the truth? If you can't see the truth, then that's not an illusion for you.
Right. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Maybe it's not a good time for me to articulate it. I'll ponder it some more.
Excuse me. Does anyone else grasp what Carolyn's trying to articulate and be able to help?
Well, I think she's trying to understand the logic that end with words.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No. I feel as if, just as you were saying earlier, everything is energy. I feel the energy around me, and I don't feel trapped in my story, because I do feel that the energy is always there for me, and whatever the limitations of my story, I feel as if the energy of the world, of the one energy, is available to me at any given time and can move through me as I am living in the story. To whatever degree I'm still living in the story. And that's my understanding of it. And I don't know if that's the same as what you're saying, or if it's totally different.
When you speak, I hear there's me and the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's...
Yeah, that's because there's a limitation with using words. But, that's just where I am right now, so I can continue to see what shows up for me around that.
Mm-hmm.
There's one infinite energy. And this one infinite energy is transforming the energy into different forms of energy. Same energy, but changing the form, transforming. The ocean changes the form of a part of itself into an iceberg. It's still the water, but now it has boundaries and parameters, which makes it a lower form of energy. The ocean is big, the iceberg is small in comparison to the ocean, but it's the same. If you can see the same, then what you become is the ocean moving the iceberg. If you forget and not see the same, and rather see the iceberg and no longer the ocean, then you become the iceberg. And who you are, I am the iceberg.
Okay.
And I am the limitations and the parameters that take place in this iceberg. I could be a very big iceberg. I could be a very small iceberg. Doesn't matter how big I am. In comparison to the ocean, I am small. I am limited, and I am the lowest form of energy. Just like we spoke about before, solid ice is the lowest form of water energy. So yesterday we spoke about not being the limitation, but no.
Transforming.
No. It was along those lines, using. It was those words, actually. It was using. That's the word I actually used. I was actually dropping the seed from yesterday about using. Not being the limitation, but using the limitation. Not being the iceberg, but moving the iceberg. But you cannot move the iceberg if you have lost yourself in thinking that you are the iceberg. You can't move the iceberg. You think you're moving the iceberg. You think you're moving this body. You think you're moving, you're choosing the emotions you feel. You think that you are choosing the thoughts that that's taking place in your mind. None of it. You're not even thinking. You're experiencing the thoughts. You're experiencing the emotions. You're experiencing as though you are choosing it all, but you're not. The ocean is moving the iceberg. The ocean made the iceberg. The ocean will deconstruct the iceberg. And it is constructing and deconstructing at the same time. It is keeping that form in place by having a certain temperature that allows it to stay in form or solid. The lowest form of energy doesn't choose. It experiences what is chosen. Now, the highest form of energy is enjoying that experience that it is chosen. The reason the lowest form may not be experiencing what it is chosen is because it thinks it is choosing. It being the solid, it being the small. It has different ideas and concepts thinking this is what it's meant to look like. It doesn't know that it being the highest form of energy is chosen this, and what you're experiencing right now is what you've chosen to experience. This is why the last couple of days I was saying if you're experiencing limitation, most people think limitation is like they're getting tested, they're getting built. You came to experience that limitation now. Like the limitation you're experiencing, you decided to experience that. You as the ocean. But you don't experience the limitation for what it is when you become the limitation. You didn't come here to be the limited. You came here to use the limitation. I used the aircraft. I use this breath. I use this energy. Whatever energy I have that has arisen within me or energy that I'm experiencing my life through, that's what I decided to experience. When I say I, the formless part of me decided to experience that.
And I use the limitation by deconstructing the limitation, by going back the same way I constructed the limitation, the form.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm trying to leave you with as we come to completion of this module is the I am part. I am trying to get you to realize that the way home is the same way you're here. This breath goes in and it goes back out the same way to where it came from. This breath comes in and it's coming from infinite space. But the moment it comes into form, its capacity is this small. I can't breathe more than that. But I am not the breath that's gone in here. I am the breath that's outside, that has squeezed the one little drop of myself into this body. And then I bring myself back out. Moment by moment. The way home is the same way you are here. The way home is the same way you are here. When people talk about being, who you are being is the feeling. To be could be to be the emptiness, the formlessness, the highest state of energy, right? That's the stillness. But as you're playing in this world, you move the energy. And as you move the energy, if you're being one with what you're doing, you feel the movement of that energy. If I'm speaking, I feel the movement of that energy. I don't even notice myself speaking or looking for words to say. I just noticed that I just said this. And as it always happens, as I begin to describe what I'm doing, it always disconnects because I'm observing and I'm like, I feel separation happening. That's what being is. So I'm being one with the movement of energy. And as the energy has formed into an emotion or formed into physical experience, if I can be one with that, I am being that. I am the iceberg. I am the melting process of the iceberg. I am the freezing process of the iceberg. And I am the ocean that is forming. Most people don't experience that because they are looking at the form, they are looking at what was formed and is deforming. People think to be is to do nothing. No, to be is to do from the nothing. And everything that we're talking about is about living this in the game. We came here, I came here to live this. But some have to first understand what this is that I came here to live. What you came to live is what you're living right now. You just came to be one with that. Then you are being. If you're being small, then be small. The problem is you compare who you're being with an idea of what you think you should be, which comes from comparison from you to other people. I'm meant to be expanded. I will experience limitation in my life in different paths. But they are not limitations to me. They are simply movement of energy. I'm experiencing that energy being formed in that experience. But that experience is not even identified as a limitation. Like, if you can grasp this, you really realize there's nothing you came here to change. You are experiencing exactly what you came here to experience because you will realize yourself as the one who chose the experience. I am the one that forms into Niven. I am the one that fills the space between us. I am the limitation. I am hate. I am love. I am the story. I am the infinite space of energy. And all is different versions of who I am. And if you want to see that, you must see the energy that moves the other body. And that is the most difficult practice I have experienced. And I continue to experience. Because I kind of enjoy the story and being in it. I'm having fun. But from time to time I have to remember, who is Sally? Who is my mother? And I need to see the energy. And how do you see with the energy? You feel it. When my mum sees the energy, she doesn't see with these eyes. Ask her again. I've never had the conversation with her about it, but I bet you she will tell you.
Feeling?
Yeah.
So it's training.
Oh, good. She's already told you. Just in case you were like, yeah, I'm seeing. Like, people take drugs to be able to see the energy. It's just made up. That's not energy. It's just a version of it. Oh, man, I just saw everything. Like, it was just all connected, man. Like, hey? Hey, cuz. So, I am. That is I am. That is our module of I am. I hope you got that final little drop there. That will make a ripple into what we've spoken about over the last 3 parts, 4 parts. This is the 4th part. This is where your freedom is. Your freedom is for you to experience the energy of what is. But the moment you label what is, I don't like this feeling. What feeling? It's just energy moving. You've just labeled it as pink or blue. It's one energy, it's one rainbow. There's not one part of the rainbow that starts one color and ends one color. It's all the same rainbow. But you're identifying different colors. Oh, this emotion feels like this emotion feels, it's just energy. The movement of energy. And you chose to have the experience of that energy moving through you. And the thoughts that you're having about, I'm not meant to feel these emotions, I'm meant to transcend this or whatever, is you as the one forming those thoughts. You're really fucking with yourself. Because your thoughts are not individual, they're all interconnected. Just like your mind is not individual. It's all one mind. It's all one energy. Yes, that one energy is forming itself in different vibrations. Okay, yes. But it's the same. Don't see the iceberg. What is the iceberg? Who holds the iceberg? Have you seen an iceberg? It's floating in the ocean. The ocean moves it. It's not stuck to the ground. It floats in an ocean. It's not only made from the ocean, it's holding it and it's moving it. And it's constructing it and it's deconstructing it. Bless you. We came here not to be limited, but to what the limitation?
Use it.
Use it. And when in using something, that's when you experience. In using it. And on final note, remember, to take energy is to use it. To give energy is just to, again, for me, just to give energy to something, it's seeing and it's giving feeling to something. I see it in my mind. It's imagination. It's just giving feeling to something. If you give feeling to something that's not yet formed, you're in infinite land. You're in formlessness. If you give feeling to something that has not yet formed, if you see something and give feeling to it, if you give feeling to something and see it that has not yet formed, it's infinite. If you give feeling or energy to something that's formed, you're reinforcing what's formed. If you give energy to something that's formed, you see that in your imagination and you reinforce what's been formed. That is you giving energy to something. Again, just observe what you give energy to. I don't like this. Most people give energy to things they don't like. In other words, they give their energy to the form. So they just reinforce the form. Rather than giving your energy to the formless. And that really means giving energy to nothing. Don't give your energy to the form and you will give energy to nothing. And you'll be in the nothingness. Imagination, nothingness. Imagination's infinite. But you can't do that, right? If you're so busy with all the energy that you're not even using. I can't go look for new energy sources of food that I want to experience. I can't eat tonight if I haven't burnt off the energy that's in my stomach right now. It's one thing I've been struggling with this trip. Every morning I look at Sal like I was like, oh, I can't eat. Because I'm still trying to burn, and I haven't been training. I'm used to training 6 days a week, pretty much every day. And I burn energy and I just haven't felt to be training. I just wanted to for whatever reason, just be here. I'm not training. I chose not to train. Or it was chosen not to train, whatever you want to call it, right? So I'm not training. So I can feel the food is staying in my body much longer and I can't get the next energy, and I really want to have the next energy because there's so nice food here. But the last one's still in here.
Makes it hard to move.
It makes it hard to move as well. And you feel stuck. And you feel heavy. Isn't this all these descriptions exactly what it feels like? You feel heavy, you feel stuck, you feel it's hard to move.
That, then you reinforce it. That's amazing.
I think you have some new training techniques for your clients.
Move.
Move, damn it, I tell ya.
This is how we work.
You don't sit here and listen to me, you stand. Because you burn energy as you stand.
And squat.
So it's just the same in the physical. It's amazing. It's amazing how, like, what a mirror nature is to the truth. I mean, you can just study nature all day. Look at the ecosystem. Jamie said yesterday, if there's no bees in the world, because there was a bee that came in here. No? Okay, sorry, the intelligent one. Patrick said, if there's no bees, we would all lose our existence. Like, everything has a role. Did you guys know that?
Yes.
If bees didn't survive, we would all die. And they're becoming endangered. You're becoming endangered, babe. You're special.
Okay.
Like, look at that. And you'd watch these animal shows. There's what's his name? David Attenborough. We sometimes watch that, and it's just like, And you see, like sometimes you see this animal being innocent, and then this other animal comes and goes, wow, and kills it, and you're like, oh, poor thing, you know, but it's part of it. It's part of the construction and deconstruction. You see the birth of the cow, you see something comes and eats it, something like it's look at it. And meanwhile, everyone's worried about, you know, the ecosystem or this. Like, I get it, right? Let's not be in denial. To me, it's part of the construction and deconstruction. I take my role, I take my responsibility. I'm not being in denial of what's going on in the environment. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying it's, you know, like maybe every 1,000 years the world has this construction and deconstruction. I mean, I don't know. We weren't here 1,000, or we were, but we probably can't remember what happened. Were we here 1,000 years ago? Of course we were. I wasn't, but in a different form I was. I was a mammal. You know, the big one with the horns? I was a mammoth.
A woolly mammoth.
I was a woolly man. No, he was the woolly one.
He's a lion.
Yeah, don't buy into the story. Don't buy into the construction and deconstruction. You know, you see countries where they've been deconstructed by a tsunami, and then a new city is born. So, in bringing completion to this module, the idea is to be able to observe as things construct and deconstruct. Notice the flow, experience the flow by being in the energy of the construction, but also the deconstruction. You know, sometimes you'll get pay rises, sometimes it drops. It's part of the deconstruction. But it's true. Why are you happy with a pay rise and not happy with the, you know, it's part of it. We'll talk about that after. But do you get what I'm saying? Remember the construction and deconstruction. Remember the energy levels. Highest energy level is the formless. As it begins to form or construct or deconstruct, which is happening at the same time, because in duality, that's the balance, right? That's the second highest, and the lowest level of energy is the form. Again, go study meteorology if you wanted to understand. Well, not meteorology, but just water. Study water in meteorology, in the topic. And then we discovered it's about giving energy or taking energy. So then we went, well, what is it to give energy and what is it to take energy? Again, if you are identifying as giving as having more or having less when you give, or to take is to receive something and have more and then have less, you know, that's duality. In oneness, giving of energy is movement of energy. Taking of energy is using energy, which again is movement of energy. In the nothingness, the energy is still. You go deep, deep, deep out of space, it's just still. As you come closer to form, there's movement. It's busy. There's all kinds of molecules and little live things on my body. There's things eating my skin right now. Did you know that? We have things that are alive inside of our body. And they all have roles. There is things in constant motion. Don't fuck with the motion. It's there to be moved. You store energy. Not only will you experience being fat or whatever, we just use that as an example, by the way, but diseases. Where do you think diseases come from? Energy. What happens when we said we build a pond or a dam and you leave the water there and you just build, and what happens to that water? It becomes a disease. That's what disease is. Energy that didn't continue to flow. That's what healing is, to unblock that energy if you can. Of course, it's with willingness of the person. It's to unblock that and let the energy flow again. Use the energy. Use all your energy. So when you go to sleep, you have a good night's sleep. Seriously. Ask yourself how you sleep at night. Who sleeps good at night? Well, you sleep next to me. Of course you do. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Some people sleep loudly.
Hey?
Some people sleep loudly.
Loudly. Yeah, lots of signposts in the physical, guys. Lots of signposts in nature, lots of signposts in the physical. Talking about signposts, the sun's out. It's time to go gliding.
Sun's out, comes out. Follow his footsteps. Sometimes.
All right, guys. Well, thanks. We finished this module, and we'll see what the next module. I always think there's no more, but there's always something more, isn't there?